Hello, broadcasters. Welcome to episode 213 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. My name's Geige, and I'm here with Dan, of course. Dan, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Excited to announce yet another feature.
Yeah, I'm super excited. We have some fun announcements and topics for tonight. And for anyone new here, Dan and I are the founders of StreamYard, and we do these town halls every single Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific, and we do them for a few reasons. One is to stay in tune with all of you, go through the same flow that you all do with your own shows and productions. Two is to answer any of your questions. That's why we're calling it Ask StreamYard. So if there's anything you'd like us to touch on tonight, feel free to leave it in the chat. We'll do our best to get to as many as we possibly can. And I always mention the three pillars of StreamYard, which are ease of use, stability, and professional streams. So if you've got those three things, StreamYard is the tool for you. Awesome to see folks tuning in from all over the world tonight. I think I saw Jamaica. I think we've seen it in the past, but first time I've seen it in a while. Very, very cool. Before I forget, we have awesome shows on StreamYard, so definitely check out our YouTube channel for the latest. We got YouTube channel reviews with Dee and Daniel the second Saturday of the month. Dee and Daniel are both pros when it comes to all things video, but this show is all about growing on YouTube. So if you're looking for great tips on how to interpret your analytics or how to come up with thumbnails, they're really, really great for that information. And we have enhanced your live streams the last Tuesday of the month with Nick. Again, a pro when it comes to all things video, but check out that one specifically for your live streaming tips. And then one thing we've been doing at the start of these is so that we get to know a little bit more about you. You get to know a little bit more about us is a fun fact. And the fun fact we were doing for tonight was, what was your first job? What was your first job, Dan?
My first job, I think it was in grade 9 for me, and it was in construction. But of course, for anyone who's done construction or similar jobs when you're pretty young and you have no skills, I don't know if I would actually call it construction. It was more, I was a laborer doing construction. It was fun though. I really enjoyed it actually. I kind of like working outside. It's nice to mix it up. It's nice writing code now being inside, but I like construction. How about you?
Cool. Mine was pretty similar. I worked at a crane company, but I was essentially just like in the shop, driving the forklift around, unloading trucks and stuff.
Laborer, yeah.
I was a laborer of sorts.
Cool.
So let's do a couple questions, and we'll get into the first announcement. Let's see here. We had one here from Zach. Zach says, feature request: it would be helpful to be able to create playlists for music or sound effects in StreamYard. Would be extremely useful for me as a podcaster. Really appreciate the request, Zach. That's awesome. I assume you're already familiar with some of the basic sound stuff that we have now. But yeah, playlists has definitely come up in the past. I think it makes a lot of sense. Any other thoughts on that one, Dan?
Yeah, just one question actually, Zach. When you say playlist for music or sound effects, are those the same thing, or are you referring to two separate things? So do you want sound effects and then also playlists for music, or do you want playlists for both music and sound effects within the playlist? Just curious. I just want to figure out if there's a use case for having a playlist of sound effects, or if those are two separate things you're asking for.
Cool. Let's do one more here and then get into the announcement. Sean says, can we get RSS feeds from all audio feeds? So right now, StreamYard doesn't have RSS functionality, but we appreciate the request. It was actually one of the topics we had for later if we had time was how many of you use a podcast host today? And if you do, what is that podcast host? And would it be useful for us to add, integrations with those types of things? So I appreciate the request there, Sean. Cool. And with that, let's get into our first announcement, which is headlines. Headlines are now available. Do you want to talk a little bit, Dan, about what those are exactly?
You bet I do. So actually, I was going to say if you can remove that banner. So we'll just show them off. So headlines are, I'm going to point to the wrong side, but the name in the bottom corner, you can now add a secondary name tag below that, or a headline as we're calling it, to basically add a bit more information about yourself or your guest. So, a lot of times you want to say the person's name, but then you also want to give a bit more info. So it could be their social media handle. It could be their job title, just something kind of describing them in a bit more detail. So just to give you an example. So Geige and I have two separate headlines. Mine's not the most exciting, but gives you an example of what this looks like. One of the really cool things is, as you might expect, this does adapt to the themes. So if you're familiar with StreamYard's themes, you can try out some of the different looks. So you'll see, I'll just go through all of them. They're all animated really nicely. So no matter what theme you're using, it should look very good.
Cool.
And then I can give a bit more info as well. And obviously, if you have questions, feel free to ask away. But it's optional, so this isn't something that always needs to be on. If you don't want to use headlines, you don't need to use it. It does add, one extra step for your guests to add their own headline, and for yourself to add a headline. So not everyone will want to use it, but it does add it gives a good professional feel, I would say, to the stream. So if you're in your brand tab, if you're familiar with this setting now, it's near the top in the brand section, and it says show display names. There's now another switch right below that says show headlines. If you turn that on, you'll be prompted to add your own headline first. And then anytime a guest joins the studio, if you have that setting on, they'll be prompted to add their own headline. And then similar to with display names, you can change your guest headline if you want. So if you notice that it should be slightly different, you can change that, or you can always just ask them to change it themselves. Yeah, really cool. Curious to get everyone's thoughts. I'm pretty excited for this one.
Yeah, it's definitely come up in the past, so super excited to launch it. Looking at the chat, it sounds like lots of folks have already tried it, which is awesome. Hey, Linda, it's been a long time. Great to see you here. Thanks for popping in. Holly Yu says, love the headlines. Letitia says, so cool. Question, can we do this inside the recording feature? Yes, absolutely. It works just like name tags and the other sorts of on-screen components of StreamYard. So you can use it with recording, with on-air, every single aspect of StreamYard.
Yep.
Durham says, love the headlines. Now I can display both my name and my website. Yes, absolutely. Let's see what else we had here. Anna says, such a great new feature. Awesome, Anna. Glad that you're excited about it. Let's see. Ross says, I use StreamYard to record footage to later edit for YouTube and other media. Any chance of having multiple camera angles coincide with multiple mics? Do you want to take that one, Dan?
Good question. Multiple camera angles coincide with multiple mics. So yeah, right now, you may be familiar with it. We do have a multiple or extra camera option, as we call it, which does let you add one extra camera, but it doesn't have an extra mic. Typically, if someone wants an extra mic, they just bring in another person. It's usually a bit more rare to have multiple mics hooked up. I would say, you might already know this, but you can achieve that with a few different methods. Like you could just have multiple mics in your computer and then kind of have an audio mixer in software, or also like a hardware audio mixer to mix those multiple mics together. And then on StreamYard, you just have one mic feed. So you're basically selecting the mixed audio. Like I think it was Loopback I used to use for that, but there's also hardware solutions as well. So hopefully that's helpful. It's not something we have now. Maybe it's something we'll add in the future to make it a little easier for you. Yeah, when I have needed to do that, I used Loopback specifically for me.
Awesome. Marissa says, very cool feature. Can you change the color of the headline?
Question. So right now it depends on the theme, but I believe it's white for all of them. So if we go through, so that one will be white regardless of our brand color. It's kind of similar to the comments. Like when we pull comments on screen, there's a white section, and it's white no matter what your color is. So yeah, it doesn't change that much.
Yeah, it will fit the theme, whatever theme you're in, but yeah, not full customization on the color. Chantel says, is member chat not showing in StreamYard, or is it a YouTube issue? Member chats should be showing up in StreamYard, Chantel. If that's not working for you, if you could reach out to StreamYard.com/contact in the live chat, that would be awesome. JV's Hangout says, can you add multiple headlines?
So you can't add multiple layers, if that's what you mean. So where I could say, Dan, let's say my role, my job title, and then also maybe a hashtag and then something else. Like it won't have multiple tiers, but you could just space them out. So you could just type, my name and then job title dash at StreamYard app dash something. Like you could just put them all in one line. So that's what I would recommend doing if you need to do multiple. We didn't want it to get too tall, essentially.
Gotcha. So it's only one line. You can't do like shift and enter. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Beauty Bubble adding that the headline also accepts emojis. Yes, absolutely. I know folks love using emojis and stuff. So thanks for that clarification, Beauty Bubble. That is absolutely true.
Yep.
Linda loves the feature. Awesome, Linda. Glad you're excited for it. Pixel PS says, question, if the guest leaves the headline empty, will it show an empty bubble? No, it will not. And I think Dan can actually show what that looks like. It'll just appear as a normal name tag if your guest doesn't add one.
Yep. And yeah, I would add too, like if your guest joins and they don't, because it is optional, so your guest doesn't have to put in a headline. So your guest might enter and not have a headline, but before the show, you could just tell them like, hey, I really want you to have a headline for this. I want all the guests in here to have a headline. And they either put it in themselves or you enter it for them.
Cool. Charles says, question, I have 2 different shows. It would be nice to change for each show. So you can change the headline at any time that you want, but it will change for both, right, Dan? It's not like it's saved on a per show.
Yeah, it's not saved on like a show level or brand level or anything like that right now. That's just something we can consider. Yeah, you will have to change it every time right now.
Yeah, if that is how you'd prefer it to work, Charles, we would be curious. But yeah, fully dynamic. So in the middle of the show, you can change it, or before, obviously. Let's go. So with Joanne says, how many characters fit in a headline?
I can't remember.
So
I feel like it's either 50 or 100. I could test it really quick, but you can also try it out yourself. Start entering a bunch of characters. I can't remember off the top of my head.
So we'll get back to you next time, Joanne. I think it also probably says in the announcement video if you watch it on the website. Andrew says, question, looks like my name and headline are aligned to the middle, which covers up my profile view a bit. How do you get it to go to the left side?
Name and headline are aligned to the middle.
I'm not sure I fully understand. Andrew, if you could send like maybe a screenshot or something to contact at StreamYard.com of what that looks like, because I don't fully understand.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Let's see what else we have here. Happy Valley Hobbies says, question, StreamYard, is there an easier way to change cameras? I've been going to settings to change cameras. Have we added hotkey functionality for cameras at all, Dan?
I'm guessing this might be for mobile.
Okay.
And Happy Valley Hobbies, let me know if I'm off on that. I know on mobile, we thought about maybe making it easier to switch between front and back, and that could be something coming relatively soon. If this is for desktop, we don't have a hotkey for that, but yeah, we might be able to add a hotkey, which could maybe simplify it.
So let us know. Happy Valley. One alternative that requires, it's not just within StreamYard, but folks do sometimes use is like a video switcher of some kind. The A10 Mini is pretty popular for that, where you can have multiple cameras running into that and sort of use that as a hardware switcher. But we would love to make it easier in general, though. So stay tuned on that.
Yeah, and then sometimes also, and it depends what you're doing, but we do have that extra camera setting. At least I think that's on our professional plan and up right now. You could add a second camera, and then say you just want to be switching all the time throughout the show. That's a nice way to do it. Obviously, you could have both cameras on screen at the same time too, but you might want to have like your face full screen and then switch to maybe something you're working on and then switch back. And it's nice to actually have 2 cameras to do that, just to switch a little more seamlessly.
Cool. We have tons of questions here. Appreciate all of them. I do want to get to a couple of the other announcements, so we'll come back to some of these, but one more and then I'll get to the next update really quick. Chris says, any chance we'll be getting more themes with overlays for StreamYard, et cetera, gaming, podcast, film, news? I think it's a great idea, Chris. I think themes add a ton of value and a ton of like control over the look and feel of a broadcast. So we definitely want to add more in the future. And any feedback like that is useful, even if it's more specific than that in terms of like the types of designs you'd like to see beyond like the genre. Would be super curious to know what you'd like to see there. But we do plan on adding more.
Yep.
Cool. And a couple other things I wanted to share. Smaller update, but I do think it's pretty cool, is with StreamYard On Air. And if you're not familiar with StreamYard On Air, it's our new sort of webinar functionality. It's not just for webinars, though. Like you can also use it as sort of a multi-streaming destination if you want to embed the live stream on your own website. That came out back in December. But now it supports avatars. So it used to be if someone was commenting through the chat of StreamYard On Air and you showed that comment on screen, it would only be able to show the StreamYard On Air logo. But now it will actually show sort of an avatar with a letter for the person of the first letter of the person's name.
Initials, yeah. Initials.
Or sorry, the initials, which I think is a nice sort of touch to make it feel more sort of in line with how like the other destinations work and look a bit more on brand for you. So hopefully that's a welcome change.
Cool. And it does have a slightly different color for each user as well. So it's kind of easier to tell. It's just easier to distinguish the comments, I find. Livens up the chat a little bit.
Absolutely. And the other one, we mentioned it last week, but just wanted to let you all know that it's still rolling out. So Shorts and Reels features are still rolling out. It's with a relatively small percent of folks now, but everyone should have access by the end of next week. So stay tuned on that. And we do actually have a video walking through exactly how it works. Should we go ahead and play that, Dan?
Cool. Sure. Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and play the Shorts and Reels announcement.
Get more views from your StreamYard videos by trimming them into bite-sized pieces and posting them as Shorts and Reels. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm super excited to announce that we just launched Shorts and Reels. You can now take a past broadcast or recording and turn it into a short clip, up to a minute long. These clips will be in vertical format, and you can post them straight to Instagram Reels, Facebook page Reels, and YouTube Shorts, all from within StreamYard. TikTok is coming soon. This is an awesome way to promote your show, post a highlight reel from a previous show, or just build your audience on new platforms. To create your first clip, head to your video library. Then click on the video you'd like to repurpose. Under the video, click on Trim. Then select Shorts and Reels. Click to drag and drop the slider to find the perfect clip from your recording. Your clip must be between 5 seconds and 60 seconds long. Once you've found the perfect clip, then click Select Destinations. Not ready to post yet? No problem. Just click Save instead of Select Destinations. You can always publish it later. If you're already a StreamYard user streaming to Facebook or YouTube, your platforms will be automatically added for Shorts and Reels here. To add a new destination, like Instagram Reels, or if you don't have any destinations at all, click the plus sign. Then select which destination you'd like to add. If you are adding Instagram, one thing to note is that it must be a professional profile instead of a personal one, and it has to be connected to a Facebook page. This is easy to do. We'll walk you through it. After selecting your destinations, fill out the description. Then click Publish. You'll see all your Shorts and Reels here under your recordings. After it's published, you can download it to your computer or publish it to more destinations. You can now get more viewers by repurposing your content as shorter clips to multiple social media platforms. Shorts and Reels are available on all plans. We're so excited to see your Shorts and Reels. Happy streaming!
Awesome. So yeah, hopefully all of you are excited for Shorts and Reels. I know we certainly are. It's been really fun testing it out, and hopefully it gives you a nice way to sort of make your content go further and use those as platforms to grow your audience even more. So definitely curious if there's anything else that you'd like to see in the future with the Shorts and Reels editions. I know some of the stuff that we heard last time was more advanced functionality regarding some of the editing and whatnot, which totally makes sense. We're already working on that. But if there's anything else that comes to mind that you think we're maybe not thinking of, it would be great to know what those are.
Yep.
Clarine says, "How are you projecting light on the wall behind you?"
Good
I need
question.
to check. I need to check the exact name of the device, Clarine, but it is just a little light projector that's near that wall that's just sort of shining up for a background there.
Kind of looks like the Northern Lights, actually, at least when it's green.
Chris used the headline/titles feature with Church this morning. Awesome.
Cool. Sweet.
Creative Lady used them as well. Fantastic. All right, let's see.
Yeah, I guess we should add. So it is already out for anyone that is wondering, and that's why you see a lot of comments. So we did ship it. I think it was a few days ago. So it's been out for a couple of days. If you already had a chance to use it, that's awesome.
Cool. Brian Garlock says, "I won the yard a while back, but I haven't received my winnings." So Brian, if you could just shoot another email to contact@streamyard.com, they'll be happy to figure out what's going on there, if it's just a delay or what happened.
I do know sometimes it does take a while, but yeah, definitely confirm that it is actually on its way.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's really fast, sometimes it takes a bit longer, but let's make sure you get that.
Tristan says, with on-air avatars, if they are a SY user, does this show for on-air? So I should have been, the avatars are a little bit misleading, or how I described it is maybe a little bit misleading, because it's not really it's not how I can see your avatar here. It's just based on if someone is watching the StreamYard on-air webinar and they've entered their name. If you've used on-air, you'll understand what I'm talking about. If they've entered their name to register, it will basically just use the initials, like Dan said, of that name and create an avatar for them. The ability to actually customize it and add your own will likely come in the future, but it's also not synced with StreamYard at all. And that's sort of on purpose, because if you do want to create a full like white label experience right on your own website, we didn't want to force anyone to have to go through like StreamYard's registration or creating an account or anything like that when using On Air.
Yep.
Unless they wanted to. You can obviously have folks go to On Air itself if you want to. All right. Budgeting just because says, question, is it possible to share your screen on your cell? You want to cover that one, Dan?
Yeah, good question. So not right now. That is something we'd like to explore. It is a little tricky to kind of navigate and be sharing the screen while using it at the same time. Yeah, not something we support at the moment. Maybe in the future, though. Same thing with iPads. Same thing. Don't support it now, but hopefully at some point.
Yeah, there are some workarounds. Like if you are using a computer at the same time as your phone, you can. With Apple, it's particularly easy to actually like mirror what's happening on your phone onto QuickTime and then share QuickTime. And if you search our support articles at StreamYard.com/contact, which is that little help button at the bottom, and type that in, you'll see quite a few articles walking through the sort of different options there. But yeah, we'd love to make it much, much easier and allow you to do it directly from your phone.
Yep. Yeah. And yeah, key point there is you do have to have a computer as well. But it is great if you're doing like a walkthrough of a website or something and you do have a computer and then you're kind of clicking through on your phone and you just want that to be screen shared. What Geige said is a great way to do it. Like I use an app, I think it's called Reflector 4, I believe, to do that.
Yes, that's one of them. Gearhead says, does Shorts and Reels crop the original or shrink it and leave boxes at the top and bottom? So right now it's the latter, Gearhead, so it pads the top and bottom, but we want to add more options in the future. So we want to make it give you even more flexibility in the future. So if you'd like it to, we'd love to know everything else that you'd love to see when it comes to editing it. But that is the first version, which is pretty simple.
Yeah, and yeah, there will be a lot of improvements and various kind of features we're adding to that. But yeah, we mostly just didn't want to cut anything. So for example, if you were to crop the recording of this town hall, for example, you'd kind of be cutting both Geige and I out because you'd just take the chunk, or I guess on the side, right in the center of the screen, and both Geige and I would kind of be out of that. So and if you're by yourself, it would work. But yeah, for V1, it's just top and bottom are padded, but you'll see the whole stream on there right in the middle of the screen.
Cool. Ross says, RE Shorts and Reels, where is that? I just checked my profile, can't find it. So it's still rolling out, Ross. It's only a small percentage of people that have access, but you should have access by the end of next week. With bigger features like that, we like to test with smaller groups of people before it goes out to 100%. You'll see a pop-up on the site explaining that it's available once it's turned on for your profile.
Yep.
Awesome, Clarine. Glad that you're excited about it. Happy Valley Hobby says, I just learned about VTubers at StreamYard. Can you use virtual characters? So there's nothing within StreamYard itself that does it, but you can certainly use software and bring that into StreamYard as, I can't remember, it was one of the popular ones a long time ago, Face Rig, maybe, Dan?
I can't remember.
Snapchat,
you can do that stuff too, right? But it's not around anymore.
Or it's about, I can't remember when the final date was, but yeah. But yes, anything that you can bring as a virtual cam, Happy Valley, you can do. So the answer is yes, but we don't have anything built into StreamYard. If that is something that folks would be keen on seeing built directly into StreamYard, would be curious to know. Awesome, Linda. Glad that you're excited for it. Pixelpia says, very important question. When will you add the water bottle to the lucky winner in the town hall? I think it's a cool idea. I don't have a date because I think we actually have to get it more in stock. But as soon as we have more in stock, we will do that. Should we actually, with that being said, we don't have too much time left. Dan, should we go ahead and start queuing up the giveaway for tonight?
You bet we should.
Hermano says, why can't this platform be used when streaming via TikTok? We would love to support TikTok, Hermano. However, right now they don't have a public API type integration. But if that does change in the future, we'll definitely support it. Or if they end up adding RTMP, like Instagram is sort of testing out now, custom RTMP is always an option there as well.
And similar answer here for the Tangled Stitch. Instagram also doesn't have an API for streaming, but hopefully at some point they will. As soon as they do, we will integrate with it.
Absolutely. Shaka says, will filters be available soon? So we do have the virtual background functionality, Shaka, which is like without even having a green screen, you can actually replace it, which does work similar to a sort of filter technology. So I'd love to know which kind of filters you'd like to see. The sort of top one on the list for us, just based on feedback from folks like you, is the sort of touch-up feature to make it to sort of remove blemishes and stuff. So that'll likely be the first filter that we make available. But I would love to know if there's any other that you'd like to see.
Yep.
Cool. Yes, the giveaway for tonight. So to be eligible to win, all you have to do is type in hashtag the yard. It only counts once. And tonight we'll give away one of the StreamYard pillows, like the one that I have in the back there, and a StreamYard sweater. If you're ever interested in doing one of these giveaways yourself, we actually made this tool available. If you go to StreamYard.com/giveaway, there's sort of a video walking through how to do it, but you can do exactly how we're doing it now for your own giveaways. Oh, awesome. We got a picture there. Thanks, Dan. So yeah, you can see what the pillow and StreamYard sweater look like. So we'll give you maybe another 5-10 seconds to get the hashtag the yards in. I see a few questions about layouts and scenes for StreamYard. So mentioned it a few times in the past, but we are working on something really, really exciting for both layouts and scenes. We're trying to do it in a really clever way to make sure that it's really, really easy to use and sort of tucked away where if you don't want to interact with that feature, you don't have to. But stay tuned because we are working on something really, really exciting that is, I think, powerful, but also sort of elegant in terms of how it works and how it will allow you to sort of customize exactly how the layout on the screen works. So stay tuned for that.
Cool. All right, let's do this draw.
Let's do it.
For the sweater and the pillow. Good luck, everyone. Forgot the drum roll again.
Jeremy, congrats. Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. If you could please send an email to contact@streamyard.com. The team can work with you on getting your address and your size for your brand new sweater and your StreamYard pillow.
Cool.
All right. We probably have time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions here. Awesome, April. Glad that you're a fan of the water bottle. Rachel says, question, will you add the beauty touch-up feature soon? I don't have a date, Rachel, but we do have a team that's sort of focused on those types of functionalities. So stay tuned on that one. Any other thoughts on the touch-up, Dan?
I don't think so. Yeah, just if there is any other filters you guys would love to see. And filters, it's a pretty broad term. So it could be a touch-up filter. It could be, obviously we have the background and then the background blur effect. It could be bunny ears on your head. It could be completely replacing yourself with some kind of avatar. It could be all kinds of different things, like a lighting correction. If there's anything at all you'd love to see in terms of filters, let us know.
So we actually do have that one budgeting. Like if you're interested in having the bokeh effect, the blurry background, you can actually do that today, right from StreamYard. If you just go to settings and the background.
I'll turn it on for myself, but you might not notice it because my background. Oh yeah, you can notice it.
Yeah, it's very subtle.
My background's pretty boring. So
cool. Ray says, "Is there a way to do pay-per-view?" That's a good question. So, like I mentioned earlier, there is that new on-air webinar feature, and you can embed that directly on your website. So you could do something where you'd have to sort of set it up yourself, but you could essentially make a paid page behind a login or something and have StreamYard embedded behind that page. We are keen on facilitating that in the future to make it even easier if you do without having to go through the trouble of figuring out how to set that up on your own website to make a paid sort of webinar or live stream. So stay tuned on that. But yeah, you can, if you do have sort of your own website and the ability to set that up, you can do that. All right. Tons of other questions here, so we'll have to get to some of those next week. But thank you all so much for hanging out with us. It's always a pleasure talking through new features and getting all of your feedback. This was episode 213 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. We'll see you next week at the same time. Can't wait to hang out with all of you again then.
Cool. See you next week, everyone.